Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. Now that is the longer version of the salutation to the Buddha. Yeah. Now, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato. Now that is where now up to Arahato. Now Samma Sambuddha is connected at the last line. Samma Sambuddhasa here. And then you have some other epithets in the middle. Yeah. So can you any guesses as to what this mean? Sabba Dhammesu. Now by now we have actually some idea of these words, these two words, but the rest, some of these words. What is sabba?
All.
Sabba. All. Very good. Yeah. All. Sabba. Sabba, sabbe. Yeah. Sabba. Sabba is all. Dhammesu. Dhammesu. Now we know the word Dhamma. What is Dhammesu?
It's a locative of Dhamma?
It's a locative case. It's a locative case, like in the Dhammas. So in all the Dhammas, appatihata jnanacharas. Appatihata is a special word. Probably we didn't come across that. So appratihata, that is Sanskrit. Appratihata. Appatihata is unique. That means unique. Appatihata jnanacharas. So the Buddha's wisdom actually occupies in a unique way in all fields. And then dasabala. What is dasabala?
Dasa means servant, is that?
Dasa is servant. Yeah. Now this is dasa. Dasa is a numerical number.
It's 10.
10. Good. Excellent. Dasa bala. Dasa bala is, what is bala?
Bala is power.
Power. Excellent. Yeah. Power. Dasa bala. Dasa baladhari. Dasa baladhari is another epithet to the Buddha. One who holds 10 powers. 10 powers. Yeah. Dasa baladhari. Dharasa. Again, this is to the one who holds, one who is endowed with 10 powers. Chatu. Chatu. What is chatu? Lola has got all the cards in her hand, so she knows numbers. She knows the words.
It's 4.
Excellent. 4. Excellent. Chatu. Chatu Vesaraj. Vesaraj is again another new word. It's a Visarada. Visarada is having special qualities. I mean, there are 4 special qualities of the Buddha. Yeah. So we will not go into details. I mean, the enlightenment of the Buddha and the asavakkhaya and 4 of the unique. That is only unique to the Buddha himself. Yeah. Visaradas. Visarada. Visarada is kind of the translation is like erudite. Yeah, very powerful in the brain. Visaradasa, Dhammarajas. You know Dhamma, what is Raja?
Something with the king or royalty?
Hey, exactly, yeah. Rajasa. Now, when you have a sa, what does that remind you? What's the case? Dhammesu is locative case. Now Pali has again it is very case sensitive, like Latin, Sanskrit, Latin, Pali. There is the nouns and verbs are conjugated. Yeah. So this is called dative case. To Rajasa. Now, homage to him. So, and then everything is put in the dative case. Visaradasa, Dharasa, Jnanacharasa, wherever you have this Rajasa, Raja, Dhammarajas. So Dhammaraja is another epithet to the Buddha. One, a king of Dhamma. Yeah. Dhammisarasa. Dhammisara. That's another really very special epithet. Dhammisara. Issara is the, what is Issara? You may have heard this word before. Issara Nimmanavada. Ishwara. Have you heard the word Ishwara? Same thing in Pali. Dhamma Issara is like Dharmeshwara. In Sanskrit, it's called Dharmeshwara. So it's like a creator, or it's actually one who has the highest control of the Dhamma. Yeah, Dharmeshwara. So Tathagatas. What is Tathagata?
Thus gone.
Yeah, thus gone. Very good. Again, the dative case. Sabbanyuno. What's Sabbanyuno? Sabba again, we met Sabba here. So Sabbanyuno.
Something with all. But
Yeah, all knower, all knowing. Yeah, it's like Samma Sambuddha or Sabbanyu Samma Sambuddhasa. Now that's kind of the long version of the salutation to the Buddha. Okay, now who is going to try to recite in the same rhythm as Venerable Dhammarathana? No, you don't have to. So let's actually try to recite it. It's beautiful. Like, when I do the salutation, I always use this longer version. It's very inspirational. Anyone would like to try?
Excuse me, just before the traditional Pali recitations, if you give me chance, that the Sri Lankan musician Amradeva recite this for Gatha in a very fashionable way. If you allow me to. Namo,
Oh, yes.
Namo, Buddha Divakaraya. Namo, Namo, Gautama Chandhimaya. Namo, Namo, Nanta Gunan Namaya. Namo, Namo, Sakya Nandanaya. Ase Matu, and likewise.
Very good. Wow. Yeah, that's great. Excellent. So let's practice this this version as well. So who wants to have a go at it?
So you want to have it chanted, Sunil, or just recited?
Yeah. Just recite, chant, or whichever way you want to do it.
Well, I can try to improvise.
Okay.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sabba dhammesu appatihata nyanya charasa tasabala dharasa chattuvesaraja visaradasa dhammarajasa dhammisarasa Tathagatassa sabanyuno samma sambuddhassa.
Wow, that's really nice. That's, you've really done well for the first time in this. I mean, when you see this, when I recited it for the first time, I couldn't actually do that well. Very good. Excellent. Anyone else would like to try? Come on, Julia.
Why me?
You can do it.
I'm not a chanter, I think, but should I try? No, I don't know. I can read. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sabba dhammesu appatihata jnana charasa dasa baladarasa chatuveras saraja visaradasa dhamma raja. Am I saying J good? No.
Sorry?
How we are supposed to pronounce?
Actually, you were right. It was my mistake. It is Rajas, not Rajas. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Rajasa Dhammisarasa Tathagatasa
Yeah.
Sabanyuno Samma Sambuddhasa.
Very good. Excellent. Well done. So it's actually, quite a number of epithets to describe his wisdom, power, compassion. Yeah, brilliant. So well done, folks. Now, Manoj already did the Namo Namo Buddha Divakaraya. That's actually the singing version. He did the singing version, which is also devotional. But there is also, the monks actually chant it bit, slightly differently. So if you want to hear it, perhaps maybe Venerable Dhammarathana could do once more. This one.
Can I also ask something? Because
Please, yeah.
I'm wondering, and I would say that although it's like trying to describe his wisdom, it's indescribable, right?
It is exactly, yeah, you're right, yeah. So the Buddha says there are actually four powers which are unfathomable. What are those four? Yeah, it is called Surya Pabha, the rays of the sun, Surya Pabha. And the second one is Chandra Pabha, the sunshine, yeah? Sorry, the moon, the light of the sun, light of the moon, and then Prajna Prabha, the wisdom power. What's the last one? Surya Prabha, Chandra Prabha, Agni Prabha, the fire, the shine of the fire. So there are light, actually the four types of light, but then he says Prajna Prabha, the wisdom power, actually exceeds all the other powers. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah. Okay, Bhante, Namo. Now, one reason why we do this, all of this, is because this is the Vesak. The Vesak time, there are a lot of devotional songs. This is the Vesak week that we are celebrating Vesak throughout this week. So, Bhante, are you here? I can't see you again. Is he gone? Is he gone?
Yes, it's gone.
That's
Okay.
gone.
Sorry?
I said that's gone.
That's gone. Yeah, he's just gone. Yeah. So the last stanza is, everybody knows this. Now, when you want to bless somebody, you do this. Who is going to do that? This is actually a very common one. Even, I mean, no, anyone can actually do this. Now, these are actually three verses. Buddhanubhaven, Dhammanubhaven, Sanghanubhaven. So who is going to do that? Do you recognize the words here?
Could you make the letters some greater? How do you say? It's rather small to read.
Oh, is it too small?
Yeah, for me at least.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me actually make it bigger. Okay, yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah. Now this is a very common. When you want to bless somebody, this is the commonest stanza that you recite. Yeah, Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata. Sorry, I have put Davata. Why did I do that? Devata. Yeah, Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Sothi Bhavantu Te. Do you know the meaning of that one?
Approximately.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Keith, I have heard you recite this.
Yeah. That's how come I know roughly what it means.
Yeah. What does that mean?
May there be every blessing. May all heavenly beings protect you.
Yeah.
Through the power of all the Buddhas, may you always
Yeah.
be well. And then you,
Oh,
you
excellent.
repeat it for Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha.
Brilliant. Yeah. So Buddha, this is a conjunction. This is a liaison. This is join two words. Buddha Anubhaven becomes Buddhanubhaven. And then you replace that with Dhammanubhaven, Sanghanubhaven. Yeah. Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te.
Could we like scroll a bit to downwards so we see the new parts of the
Okay, you want it upward like this?
Oh yeah, like this. I just didn't
Yeah.
see half the last line well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bhavatu sabba mangalam. Rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. So sabba dhammanubhaven, sabba sanghanubhaven, sada sotti bhavantu te. Yeah. So, okay, folks. We're going to do one of the most difficult suttas today. So brace yourself. Maybe very. Now this is the very first sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length discourses. Yeah. And the funny thing is, at the end of every sutta, the monks say, we are very happy, and they express their delight. Now, this is the only sutta in the whole of the canon where now let's get to that. Hold on. It is, yes. Okay. So, so I'm sure we won't be able to read the whole thing, but look at this. Iti vidita bhagava jat bhutas bhikkhave tathagato sabbaso kaya viraga. No, usually at the end of this any sutta, they say actually everybody was very happily received. Now in this sutta, it says that they were very unhappy. Yeah, very unhappy. So I don't want you to be that, okay? After reading the Mula Pariyaya Sutta. But I mean, what's really interesting of this sutta, Mula Pariyaya Sutta, I think as one of you sent me a link to a translation. There are actually quite a few different translations to this sutta. So this one is considered one of the difficult ones. So the Bhikkhu Bodhi actually suggests that we finish with all the other suttas before we get to this. Yeah. So, but anyway, we'll just have a quick look. Mula Pariyaya Sutta. You know, what is it? What's the meaning of the word Mula Pariyaya? Have you heard of that sutta before? Yeah.
Root.
The root, yeah. Mula is actually root. Mula Pariyaya. The root of all things. The root of all things. Mula Pariyaya. So this is, you know, if you understand this sutra, you understand all the other sutras. So, sort of, you know. I'm sure.
You say that for all sorts of things.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's the understanding. So Mula Pariyayang, the Buddha says, oh, let's have a look at this. Evam me sutam. Now you know that part we all know. What does that mean? Evam me sutam?
Thus have I heard.
Thus have I heard. Eka, yeah. Eka, yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Ekang samayang bhagava. Again. What's Ekang samayang bhagava? What is Ekang?
Once
Yeah,
the Blessed One dwelt or resides.
Yeah. Ekang samayang bhagava ukkatthaya viharati. Now that's a name of the place. Ukkatthaya. Yeah, ukkatthayam viharati. The Blessed One is living in the Ukkatta. Subhagavani, the forest called Subhaga. You know, Sal Raja Mule. That's again a name of the Sala Raja Mule, under the Sala tree. Yeah. Tatrako Bhagava Bhikkhu Amantesi. So the Blessed One addressed them. Bhikkhavoti, monks. Bhadante te Bhikkhu Bhagavato Pachasosum. Pachasosum. So they replied, Pachasosum. Bhadante, Venerable Sir, they replied, Bhagavayeta the Vocha, the Blessed One, said this, Sabba Dhamma Mula Pariyayang Vo Bhikkhave Desisami. Monks, I'm going to teach you, Sabba Dhamma Mula Pariyaya. Sabba. What is Sabba? We have met it a couple of times today. All. Yeah? Yeah. Sabba Dhamma Mula. The root of all Dhammas. Pariyaya. Vo Bhikkave Desisami. I'm going to teach you the root of all Dhammas. Tang Sunatha. What's that? Tang Sunatha. But Sunatha.
Listen?
Listen. Yeah. Listen to that. Yeah. Listen to that. Sadhukam. Now, this is also a very common expression. Sadhukam. Well. Manasikarot. Reflect. Reflect well. Sadhukang Manasikarot. Bhasisami. I'm going to teach you that. Evam Bhanthe Tiko. Of course, Venerable Sir. Tiko te bhikkhu bhagavato pachasosum. So they replied, of course, Venerable Sir, Bhagavayata the Vocha. the Buddha said this. What did he say? Can you all see this? Is the letter, are the letters visible enough? Yeah? Sort of, okay. I can't make it larger because then it'll be difficult. Okay. Ida bhikkhave asutava putujjano. Asutava putujjano. Now that's an expression. Yeah, we already know asutava putujjano. Yeah. Now this is a very common expression again in the Pali canon. Asutava. What's asutava?
Is it the ordinary persons?
Yeah. Ordinary, yeah. Worldling or uninstructed. Asutava. Sutta is the one who has heard it, one who has learned it, one who knows it. But asutta is the opposite of that, one who has not heard it, or one who doesn't know it. Putujjana. Putu is actually common, common person. Yeah. So asudava putujjano ariyanang adassavi. Now Ariana, Aryan, adassavi, one who hasn't seen, met Aryans. Arya dhammasa akovidu, one who is not skilled. Kovida is again another interesting word. Kovido means skilled, skilled in. Kovida or akovido is unskilled Arya dhammasa. Arya dhamme avinito, untrained. Again, untrained in the Arya Dhamma. Sappurusanang adas, Sappurisa is again another name for the Aryan, sort of, what's the word? What is the translation of Sappurisa? Yeah. So regard the noble ones, undisciplined Dhamma, who has no regard. Yeah. So it says noble ones again, Sappurisa, noble ones. Aryadhamma, it's a sort of same meaning as Aryadhamma. Yeah. Adasavi Sappurisa dhammasa kovido, Sappurisa dhamme avinito, undisciplined, untrained in this. Now this is a crucial point. Yeah, patavito sanjanati. Pataving. You know what patavi is? What is patavi?
Earth or something?
Yeah,
Earth.
earth. Yeah, earth. So now there are four elements. What are the four elements? Earth element, water element, fire element, air element. So Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Yeah? You already know Pathavi. Pathavim. Now this is Pathavi. Apa, Tejo, Vayu. Yeah. Apa is water. Tejo, fire. Vayu, air. So, shall I tell you a little secret? Nobody wants to know my secret. What's the Pali word for secret? Guiha.
Guhya?
Yeah. Guiha. Sanskrit word is guhya. You actually pronounce like Sanskrit. Do you speak Sanskrit? Yeah.
No, I know the word Guhya because it appears in names of all the members and also in places.
Oh, right.
You have
Okay.
a place called Guhya Loka, which
Guhya. Exactly. That's Sanskrit. Yeah. The difference between like guhya, only see the letter guiha and guhya. That's the difference between Sanskrit and Pali. Yeah. Okay. So one of my secrets is when I was very young, I don't know, maybe when I was 3, 4, I have asked my mother to call me Tejo. So my actually very young name was this Teja. Yeah, fire. I don't know why. Why? Probably I don't know. Yeah. So
you were,
sorry.
you were a very energetic boy, maybe.
Could be, yeah, maybe. I have been really, really very active and energetic. So patavito sanjanati. Now the ordinary man, untrained or unskilled or uninstructed common man, what he does is pataving. He actually perceives Patavi as Patavi. What does that mean, actually? Patavi as Patavi. Any guesses?
Maybe he sees Earth as something real, as something existing independent on conditions, or
Yeah. I mean, that's the ordinary mind. Ordinary mind always sees things as they are. Now, actually, Buddhism is not about seeing things as they are. A lot of people say, oh, the best thing to do is to see things as they are. There's actually interesting Pali word called, now remember we learned this word, ya, ha, bhuta, yatha bhuta, which is normally ordinarily translated as they are. But no, actually the correct translation is as
Came into being, toch?
yeah, as they come into, exactly, come into being, how they arise. Now usually ordinary people, worldling, see things as they are. So I mean that doesn't mean that is their nature, actual nature. Patavito sanjanati. If you really cognize, or if you perceives Patavi as Patavi, then there is a problem. So what is the problem?
They're perceiving it as an entity. You know, they're confusing a concept with reality.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, they actually, what they miss is the causality, how it came into being, how it, comes into being. So, it is like accepting the world as it is. So, pataving patavito sanjanat, pataving patavito sanyatva. Now, having, that is absolute, having recognized Patavi as Patavi, Pataving manyati. So now the word manyati is a very interesting one. Yeah, manyati. What do you think that would that would really mean? Manyati. The Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation is now the one problem with these translations. It says, having perceived earth as earth, he conceives himself as earth. So manyati, conceive. Mind, I mean, usually it comes from the manyana, manyati is mind. He minds, he, conceives. Actually, conceive is also not just an ordinary conception, because you pretty much are born with it. If you know what I mean. So every time you see something, you are actually reborn with it. You become one with it. And that is identification, isn't it? Yeah. Manyati. Pataving patavito manyati. Pataving, okay. Pataving patavito manyati, pataving meti manyati, pataving abhinandati. Now, these are actually, again, quite crucial expressions. So it says, he conceives himself in earth, he conceives himself, apart from, outside of earth. He conceives earth to be mine. He delights in earth. So, I mean, abhinandati is delight. Tankis hetu. Why does he do that? Aparinyatan tassati vadami. Aparinyatan. What is aparinyatan?
Something about not knowing
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, not knowing. Yeah. Parinyata is fully knowing. Aparinyata means not knowing a bit about it. He doesn't know about it. Aparinyatan tassati vadami. So he's clueless. Yeah. So okay. Now shall we take a short break? Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll take a 10 minutes break and come back, shall we? Okay, excellent. See you in 10 minutes. Okay, folks, welcome back. How are you all doing? Good?
Lucian, I send it.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Okay, so what have you learned from this course now? Nothing. Keith is laughing. Why are you laughing?
I know that you haven't changed one little bit. You defy impermanence.
Yeah. So you know, the question I ask is, are you enjoying the course?
Have you heard the term curate's egg?
Have I heard what?
The expression the curate's egg.
No.
The curate is served an egg by the landlady where he's staying, and it's really bad, but he says it's good in parts. No, it's really useful. The interpretations and the different perspectives you're giving on the words is the useful bit for me. Different for other people.
Indeed, yeah. So no, I mean, you know, what I thought was, it's so boring to learn a language. Language learning is so painful.
Yeah. Okay. Zet de verspiecht uit.
Yeah. So I wondered whether this is the right way to do a Pali course. Yeah, what do you think?
I'm not here for a Pali course. I'm here for a Buddhism course.
You are in the wrong course then.
It turns out that no.
I thought it was Kalyana Mitra based.
Well, yeah. You know, I really wonder what the Buddha would do in a course like this. You know, what would he expect his listeners to have? Anyway, no, I know. As long as you get something out of it, that would satisfy me.
I'm getting quite a bit out of it on those interpretations that you're offering. So,
No.
so I mean, what does the Buddha expect us to bring? Patience, I think, is the word.
Yeah. Oh wow! Yeah. Now look what this Venerable Dhammarathana is doing. Yeah. Which, you know, they're going to do a special flower. Yeah.
28 Buddhas celebration Vesak.
Oh, it's Vesak week. Yeah, lovely. That looks amazing.
I'm sorry, I can't focus with these nuts. It's just crazy. That sound, because Lucian is unmuted and
Yeah, beautiful
we hear
Vesak food.
everything.
The sounds, sounds.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like the bug and nuts and people and door and everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is during the Vesak week.
During the Vesak week.
Oh wow, you've done really well. Now this is like Vesak celebrations. Yeah. Wow. It's incredible. Yeah. Well done. So yeah, now I mean, coming back to our course. So basically understanding this these words like yatha bhuta. I mean, usually the translation of,
Sir, could you please share the text?
yeah,
Right.
hold on. Yeah. Now remember we were talking about yatha bhuta. Yeah. So ida bhikkave asutava putujjano aryana adassavi aryadhammassa kovidu aryadhamme avinito sapurisanang adassavi sapurisdhammassa kovidu sapurisdhamme avinito pataving patavito sanjanati. So he perceives earth as earth. Pataving patavito sanyatva, having perceived earth as earth. Pataving manyati, he minds, or actually conceives. Now, I think conceive is a nice, English word, isn't it? Conceive. Yeah. Why is it a good word, do you think? Manyati, conceives.
Because it's kind of, in a way, like imagines, like mentally, like just a thinking rather than something like in itself. In reality, there it's more of an idea.
That's also one aspect of it, Michael. Another aspect of that is conceive is like once you have conceived it, there is no going back. Like conceptual, conceive. Now the word actually, I mean, if you really focus on the word conceive, that means you are stuck. You are stuck with it, isn't it? Yeah, conceive. So the Buddha uses 3 words, abhinandati, abhinandati. Abhivadati, ajhosayatithati. So now this is the level of conception. When you conceive something, now imagine conceiving in the mother's womb. You start off with a tiny conception, and then it really grows into ajhosayatithati. Like that means you have grown and woven with it completely. So it's I mean, this is exactly what the world does to you. Yeah. It completely I mean, you get succumb, you get completely consumed, you get conceived by it. Now that's exactly what he's talking about. Manyati. Now that's the ordinary person. And this is actually then all the categories, 28 categories the Buddha is talking about, apam apato, yeah, tejang tejato, vayang vayato, right? And bhutang, bhutato, so devan devato, all the categories that you can think of, yeah. Now all of these are different worldly categories, 28, yeah. Dittang dittato sanjanat, yeah. Ekattang ekattato, yeah. Nanattang nanatato. Now, unitary and, multi. And the last one is even nibbana. Nibbanang nibbanato sanjanati. Even the nibbana becomes another category for you. Yeah, you actually conceptualize or conceive that as an entity. Yeah. So the second section of the sutta is called Putujjana Bhumi Nittito. This is the end of the Putujjana Bhumi. And then comes to the second level, Yopiso Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Sekho. Sekho is same as Seiko. Seiko. Now the first category is the Asutava Putujjana. Sekha. What is Sekha? This is same as Sekha. Yeah. Sekha. Sekha, trainee. Trainee. Trainee is the one who is on the Aryan path. Stream winner. Sekha. Stream winner and above are called Sekhas. So they perceive totally differently. Yopiso bhikkhave bhikkhu Sekho. Appattamanaso. Appattamanaso. He has not attained yet. Appatta. Yeah. Appatta. Patta. Patta is the, reach, arrived. Appattamanaso. Anuttarang yoga khema. Unsurpassable yoga khema. Unshakable stand. That is Nibbana. Now, what does he do? Patavya. Sorry. Oh, no. Pattayamano. Sorry. Yoga khemam pattayamano viharati. Now, so api. Now, this is also two words. So api. He too. Pataving, patavito, abhijanati. Now the the Putujjana, that person was, the word which was used was manyati, like conceive, perceive, right? Manyati. Whereas Sekha, they don't actually, their level is not manyati, but abhijanati. So that person has a higher understanding. Abhi, it's not an ordinary level of knowledge, knowing. Abhijanati. Pataving patavito abhinyaya. Pataving mamanyi. Now this is again a mamanyi. Ma is, this is a trainee. What the trainee does is he actually, every time he encounters this, he trains himself. He actually knows the mistake he performs. And it is not, now this is a very interesting Dhamma point here. See if you can actually, see if you can understand that deep Dhamma point. What does it tell you? Ma manyi means he makes a mistake, but he corrects himself. What does that mean in terms of practice?
But isn't that how we learn? By making mistakes first?
Yeah, exactly. Now see, that really tells you something about even sati. Sati is not about avoiding seeing something or, hearing something or tasting something or whatever. But the person is awareness. Sati is awareness. So with that awareness, ma, what does ma means in Pali?
It means not, negation.
Yeah, it is. It's like, it's not a negation per se. Negation is na, isn't it? Na. Na manyati. That's negation. Ma is something else. Make a guess. So he actually reprimands himself. He actually, it's not just even, being, what's the word, condemning oneself for making that mistake. But what he does is he actually knows that the mistake is done. That conception, or aware of. Now this is the power of sati. The power of sati. Otherwise, you don't really need sati at all. The Buddhist spiritual path starts with sati, mindfulness, awareness, mindful awareness. So mindfully aware, when the mindfulness is established, it has the gatekeeper. Ma is the gatekeeper. Yeah. So he never ever misses that. He just sort of keeps that gate. It's not again purposeful. It's not like, oh, I made that mistake and I have to recorrect it and blah blah blah. That's not what it really means. Mamanyi is that training component is already built in, and he's fully aware. He's fully aware. Do you get my point?
So he's fully aware that he conceives it not as it is.
Yeah, exactly. So he sees he makes that mistakes. He falls into that trap, but he's aware of that. Yeah. So he's not really trying to avoid that. Now this is where it really it differs from the ordinary mindfulness and like a secular mindfulness. Secular mindfulness is like trying to block that happening, like see, a lot of spiritual lot of spiritual practice is about not indulging or not entertaining it, or trying to, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but that is not what ma means. Ma means with full awareness. You are aware of your own folly. When you are aware of your own foolishness, you cannot be a fool, can you? Sorry, Mikhail. Yeah. Do you want?
I want to ask a question, but if I'm not like stopping you, then.
No. Please stop me anytime.
No, I was just wanting to ask you if I understand correctly this conceive, because I was thinking about it. Does this mean like thinking about like a self in relationship to that which Buddha points out, like water, earth, and things? Like, does it mean that like he should not conceive himself in or apart? Does it mean like this putting in a relationship, that we should not stand in a relationship to these things? Like, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no. It's not standing in a relationship. What it is manyati, and the difference between now focus on the word manyati. Manyati means mind. That means you are fully consumed by it. You have no awareness of it. Yeah. So that is the ordinary, asutava putujana. Whereas the Seika also does it, but he is aware of it. He conceives. I mean, you can't. You can't really. You can't say that it's the same sort of conception. It is, he is aware that he has been, he's been overpowered by it.
Maybe like fabricating concepts about it, would you say?
It's actually much more than that. It's not. I mean, this is how a lot of people understand this word conceive, but the word jata, like birth, born or birth. Birth is usually we understand as, we are born, to this world, blah, blah, blah. But what the Buddha talks about is kina jati, the birth is ended. Birth is ended means, it doesn't mean that you have, you are not reborn again, or I mean, of course that also may be a factor, but birth has a deeper meaning. Every time you perceive or you conceive earth as earth, you are reborn with it, because you perpetuate this fabrication. Yeah, that word fabrication, sankhara, might be a right one. But it's not that ordinary way of like conceptualize something, but it's not that, conceptualizing, but it's actually much more. You've already woven into it. You are one with it. Yeah. And that's sort of a very deep, and this is why he gets into this, apang apato, tejam tejato, I mean, pataving manyati, patavya manyati, patavito manyati, pataving meti manyati, pataving abhinandati. Now that those 5 epithets mean really, it describes how much you are woven into it. It's not that, I see this this object and I perceive this as earth, earth element. I am actually now one with it, and now I'm woven into it. I have identified myself with it, and trapped in it. Yeah, so that's sort of a deeper idea. Yeah, so that's why Patavi manyati, patavya manyati, patavito manyati, patavi meti manyati. I mean, this is why learning Pali in its cases is so important. Pataving manyati, he could have just simply said Pataving manyati. Why is he going on Pataving manyati, patavya manyati, patavito manyati, patavi meti manyati, pataving abhinandati? Now 5 different ways of expressing it. Yeah, so that really that tells you how deep rooted it is. Your conception, your fabrication is so deep rooted. Yeah, but the Seika has the tool here. He knows that I am in that. Every time he knows that gets cancelled out. That gets cancelled out. And no more, you are still perceiving, conceiving, but that root level is gone. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. I mean, if you don't worry. I can put the blame on the Buddha, because the monks were not happy after hearing this sermon.
So just what because I'm trying to understand it. So for example, I see a glass, and
Yeah.
the problem is that I think it's my glass because it's in my home and I drink with it every day, let's say. So it's different than just seeing a glass. I'm always seeing it as my glass because I recognize it as an object that I always have with me. Is this going in the right direction? This is the mistake? Or
no, sorry. Yeah, actually, that's what the ordinary people think. I mean, this thing is problematic only up until this is, I have, I have a connection with it. If I don't have a connection with it, then no problem. But that is not what the Buddha says. The Buddha says, I mean, now think of a galaxy that you have not seen, like 5,000 years. I mean, 5,000 light years, distant. But the moment you perceive it, you are already you have been woven into that. Yeah, so it is that deep. So now say, for example, people think, oh, it is my possession which is problematic. Like we don't, we think that our neighbor's car, I have nothing to do with it. Our neighbor has a car and I have nothing to do with it. Isn't it? Usually that is how we think. But that is challenged by the sutta. Mula pariyayam. This is the root. The root problem. The root problem is not removing the object from your possession or removing you from that object. that is not the problem. The real problem is you have not realized that object. Yeah. And the full realization is how that object came into being. The moment you have realized that, you don't need to remove the object from you or you from that object. All that can remain as it is, but your full understanding is there. Now that is, do you get me? Yeah?
Could you maybe say that it's sort of the fundamental avidya that we're in, and that the Seika is aware of that he's in this fundamental avidya?
Yeah, absolutely. Now that doesn't mean the Seika doesn't have the avidya. The Seika is fundamentally aware of it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that is why he uses the word ma. Now, see what he uses with, with the Arahant, Hinasava, Yopiso Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Arahant Hinasavo, Vusitava Katakaraniyo. Now that's another description of the Arahant. Now, whosoever, Yopiso Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Araham, Hinasavo, one who has asava, all the taints. Hina means eradicated. Yeah. Vusitava. Now he has lived his spiritual life. Kata karaniyo. Now he has completed what is to be done. Kata karaniyo. Ohita bharo. Now these are, epithets used to describe the Arahant. He's unloaded his weight. Yeah. Ohita. Bhara. Bhara means weight. Anupatta sadatto. Attain to the ultimate, goal. Parikhina bhava sangyojano. Parikhina. Now he has uprooted. Parikhina bhava sangyojano. This connecting, taints of the bhava. Sammadanya. Now that's another interesting word. Sammadanya. Samma-anya. Now D comes in between. Samma-anya. Now he knows fully. He's fully, the full knowing. Vimutto. Vimutta is he's actually escaped. Sopi pataving patavito abhijanati. Patavito, yeah, that person too recognizes patavi, but abhijanati, with a higher knowledge, pataving namanyati. So now see the Seika was mamanyati, and the Arahant is namanyati. Yeah. So he, because he has now, with that full eradication of avidya, he is no longer subscribing to patavi at all, because he has seen the emptiness fully. Yeah. So now here we really learn few words. Now, if you, I'll get a nice, chart for you next time. Asutava putujjano. Now there are actually 4 types of people. One type is called putujjana, And the second type is Seika. And the third is Kinasava or Arahant. And the fourth is Tathagata. Yeah. So Putujjana, you know, he's already Manyati. And the Seka Ma Manyati. And the Arahant is Na Manyati. And what do you think the Tathagata does? Of course, he, you know, he doesn't. I mean, only thing is he actually he does not conceive it not by hearing from somebody else, but through his own direct wisdom. So that's the Tathagata. Yeah, but there is no, you know, I mean, no difference between the, you know, conception of these two, but the way, only the approach. Now the Arahant has to get it from somebody, whereas the Tathagata gets it, you know, through his own direct knowledge. Yeah, so that's the only difference. But you know, but the other words he uses is Abhijanati. The Putujjana is called Sanjanati, and the Arahanti is called. I mean, the Seka is also Abhijanati, and there's also Arahant Parijanati, and you know, Tathagata, same, Parijanati, Abhijanati. Now this is the difference between the Aryan and Anaryan. Now this Aryan, sorry, this is Anaryan, and this is Aryan. Yeah. So Sanjanati. Now remember we learn in our very first lessons, Sanjanati is like, it's a sense knowledge. Like, you know, when you see the earth through your, you know, eye, experience it through your ear, nose, tongue, the body, and the mind. Now that is called Sanjanana. And the Aryan actually processed through a different faculty. And that faculty is called, you know, wisdom faculty, or, you know, insight. So now that's the difference between the Sanjanana and Abhijanana. Are you with me so far?
Yes, Sunil.
No?
Brilliant. Yes, super.
Okay. Very good. So, I mean, in this Sanjanana level, now this is like sense-based knowing, whereas this is a different level of knowing. And the, you know, the Buddha goes on how, you know, Tathagatopi bhikkhave arahang samma sambuddho patavito abhijanati. Patavito abhinyaya. Pataving namanyati. Patavya namanyati. Patavito namanyati. Pataving meti namanyati. Pataving nabhinandati. Tankisa hetu parinyeya parinyatang tathagatasati vadan. Because parinya is he's actually fully aware all round of that. Okay, Tathagatas. So that is called Tathagata Bhumi. Now, I don't seem to have taken the last part of the sutta. The sutta actually ends here, but unfortunately, a lot of monks who were listening to this sermon, this discourse, they couldn't comprehend that at all. So they say, you know, sorry, Bhanthe, we were not, you know, they say, anabhinanditva. Usually all the sutras end with an abhinandati, abhinand, yeah, abhinandit, nandi. So they all were happy. You know, this is how usually the sutta ends. But this is the only sutta in the Pali Canon, anabhinanditva. Anabhinandi. So, you know, they were not happy. So because it's a bit of a you know, head turner. Yeah. Okay, Mikhail.
I wanted to ask, because in English, I think, I mean, in the Bhikkhu, I think Bodhi translation, I thought the way he translated it, it looked like the Buddha talked about that bhikkhus should not delight in things. So maybe it's so I thought that maybe it's a play of words, but I don't know if it's in Pali, it's the same, looks like that play of words. Because, so maybe we could look at that maybe if this word repeats, because I'm not sure.
I also saw translation of the name, and it was really weird. The root of like how states of consciousness rise. So
yeah. I mean, it is the translation. I mean, this is the problem with the translation, because every time you try to really translate something, you are interpreting. You have to interpret. There is an interpretation, and the problem is that interpretation is very individualistic, you know, and that's why English translation really does not, I mean, you know, this is my, you know, intuition. And I really feel sorry for people who are reading translations, you know, because they don't necessarily capture the word meaning and the context or the text or the context either. This is a translation problem. So this is why a lot of scholars, I mean, you know, in 19th century scholars, I mean, they really all learn Pali, and they you know, the A.K. Warder, you know, this guy Rhys Davids. I'm sure many more scholars, they did not rely on translations, and one of the reasons why Pali text had not been really translated, I mean, in my view, is it's not an easy thing to do, you know, because it gives an interpretation. And that interpretation can be really misleading sometimes.
But yeah. May I ask you, is not that, I mean, even if you don't translate it, that you still interpret it, that there's still an interpretation of it?
You're right. You're right. But you know, the original text, I mean, if you really learn the Pali idiom, you know, every language has an idiom. Like, say, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not a native speaker of English, so therefore I don't have the intuitions of the language. But one thing is, when you actually learn it in the native fluency, then you develop some intuitive wisdom, you know, some intuitions of the language. Now, say for example, you know, sometimes quantifications. You know, native speakers, you know, have a monopoly over interpretations. So in the same way, when you learn the language Pali, and when you read it again and again, I mean, this is why sometimes, you know, you have to read a sutta 100, 200 times to get to the kind of core of the meaning. I must tell you, like, you know, some of the sutras I have read many more times, and I've read very differently, you know. So we all do that. The more you get into the linguistic idiom, and then it becomes, you develop natural intuition of the meaning, and that is what is really missing in translation. You know, I showed you few of the examples at the beginning. Yeah. So anyway, but that doesn't mean that we should not translate either, because, you know, I mean, Bhikkhu Bodhi and so many other translators. But what's really fascinating is there are some translators, like, I kind of like, have you read somebody called Thanisaro's translation? Bhikkhu Thanisaro's translation. He's not really going by, English idiom. He's trying to go by the Pali idiom, which is, you know, quite different. So, and he uses the language in a slightly unconventional way, I should say. So therefore, I mean, another translator I like is this Sujato, the Sutta Central guy. Yes.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, the Australian.
Yeah. He's also, he sort of, that free translation. Now, that is like, you know, rather than you are looking at the sentences and trying to translate the sentence, you absorb the meaning and you present it in your own sort of language. Yeah.
Is that not what the Buddha was trying to do? Because he could only use conventional terms, right, to communicate. So the words we have are his everyday type terms, aren't they? Rather than the higher level, you know, supramundane.
Exactly.
So it's the supramundane pointers we need, not the mundane words. But I think most of the words we get are translations of mundane words in whatever language to mundane words in another language. Will miss the whole issue. And so really you want the intention and not the words.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, you know, see, you know, somebody said a translator is a traitor to the original. Traitor. You know? So that means don't ever try to translate, he says, traitor. You are, I mean, every time you're trying to translate something, you are being very disloyal to the original. It is, the person says, it's like trying to smell a flower, from the glass, what is in the, glass seal casket, try to smell it from outside. Yeah, you will never smell the flower, the fragrance. So, I mean, those are just, comments on the translation, but I see, I mean, I kind of, I see individual idiosyncrasies of the, different people translate differently, and that's absolutely fine. But I think capturing the insights, like why would the Buddha use here to describe the conception in 5 different ways? Pataving manyati, pataviya manyati, patavito manyati, patavim meti manyati, pataving abhinandati. I mean, he could have just simply said pataving manyati. Full stop. Yeah. But see, the translator does not seem to appreciate that much, from, I mean, why he's using these different aspects. I mean, that is getting into the core of the meaning. Anyway.
Dr. Sunil, could you please
Yes.
just, in simple terms, could you please clarify what are those 5 meanings of that terms? For an example, we'll say Patavia, like
yeah, well, you're asking for the impossible. I can't do that, because that is exactly the, so now I'll show you what Bhikkhu Bodhi says. He says, having perceived earth, okay, having perceived earth as earth, he conceives himself as earth. He conceives himself in earth. He conceives himself apart from earth. He conceives earth to be mind. He delights in earth. Now, this is how he translates. Having perceived, now he actually puts very gracefully, he puts himself within parentheses, yeah? Having perceived earth as earth, he conceives himself as earth. He conceives himself in earth. He conceives himself apart from earth. But my question is, where does he get this himself? So, pataving manyati, pataviya manyati, patavito manyati, pataving meti manyati, pataving abhinandati. So the reading I get is, any form of conception of an element in any form, even in the mental form, physical or mental form or whatever form, you are subscribing to one of these. Yeah, either pataving manyati, pataviya manyati, patavito manyati, patavi meti manyati, pataving abhinandati. So, does that make sense? No?
Yeah. I don't know,
Okay.
is it relevant to this? But I think if you can use this aphorism, this case, that in order to clarify more that Nasanya Sanyi, Navisanya Sanyi, Nobya Sanyi, Navibuddha Sanyi is actually the same thing Buddha differently taught in different suttas, I think.
Yeah. Now that's a really good comment, Manoj, because this never contradicts with any of his, other sutras. Like now, up to now, we have discussed quite a number of sutras, like Anicca Sanya. Now remember the earlier sutta we discussed, and the Vipallasas, and so on. Now, they're actually very much there is no contradiction whatsoever. Yeah, thank you. Mikhail.
I just have one question. So, because even the Tathagata it is said that directly knows the water as water, etc. And I was wondering, what this direct knowledge, what does it mean? And because obviously it's not any of the other kinds, not a conceiving type of knowing. It's some more different. And so I want to ask about that.
Yeah, good question. Really important one. So Tathagato bhikkhave arahan samma sambuddho patavito abhijanati. So abhijanati and parijanati. Now both are kind of similar words. Yeah. So higher knowledge, that means actually, I mean, this is the meaning I am getting. You have penetrated into the true nature of it. That is the causality of it, how it comes into being. So therefore, none of these any form, either physical, mental, or any form, he's not falling in any of these, like patavya, patavito, patavime, any of these. He does not. His mind, I mean, this is a mental quality of a person, right? You see an object, and people perceive that object in many different shapes, forms. So the Tathagata has the direct realization of it, which is based on the Paticca Samuppada. So he knows how that comes into being. It is not the object alone that he's focusing on. Now that's another factor. Usually a Putujjana is looking at the object, but the Abhijanati means not just the object, but also the faculties through which that object is being perceived. Yeah. So in other words, he says I and the form and the causality of the two. Yeah. Now that whole process is directly realized by the Tathagata. So therefore, for the Tathagata, there is no duality of it, I versus the object. Yeah. So
it seems that, I mean, the way so this sutta then teaches both the Paticca Samutpada and and anatta at the same time without mentioning
Exactly.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's difficult.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Spot on. Yeah, exactly. Now that's this is the gist of it. It is anicca, anatta, patisamuppada. I mean, this Mula Pariyaya Sutta. This is why it is so profound. And then even I mean, funnily enough, this sutta was not studied by monastic traditions for so long, because they thought if these monks who were listening to it were very unhappy about the sutta, why should we bother learning about it in the first place? They were, I mean, I could remember actually in one of my classes sometime back. The teacher said, "Oh, this is not that interesting." I said, "Why not?" And he said, "This is the monks who have listened to this have not endorsed it. They don't like it. If they don't like it, why should we like it?" So lot of monastic education, they avoid this reading this sutta at all, because it's hard to understand. Yeah. So, but the Mula Pariyaya, and this is why the two very very first two sutras. The first one is Mula Pariyaya. The second one is Sabbasava. Both are very profound, deep suttas, which are, not properly understood. Anyway, but one of the monks called Jnanananda, I mean, he was a very amazing monk. He's the one who wrote the book called Concept and Reality. Yeah. You should read the Concept and Reality. And he's the magic of the mind, Kariyakarawana Sutta. He wrote, until he came along and he criticized a lot of monks for not reading this sutta, and he was the first one in our recent history who emphasized on the fact that we should read these suttas. And this is where, people got really interested in these suttas. Yeah. So there are some brainy monks who read this as well. Anyway, so
can I ask, is this sort of pointing to your seventh sense of wisdom?
Yeah, exactly.
For the ultimate level. I mean, in Zen, they've got this very little short story, like before you start Zen, trees are trees, mountains are mountains, rivers are rivers. And then you take up the practice and trees are no longer trees and mountains are no longer mountains and rivers are no longer rivers. And then, pow, they return to being trees, mountains and rivers.
Correct.
But from the direction of wisdom.
Exactly. Now that is exactly, I think that's a good way to put it. And I think that is the gist of this sutta, Mula Pariyaya, yeah. I mean, this is why I like, different traditions, even Nalanda tradition, this shunyata, Nagarjuna's whole, Mula Madhyamika Karika was about this. And the funny thing is now people, this is Theravada stuff, and this is Mahayana stuff, this is Zen stuff, all of these, sectarian stuff has kind of blocked this, but it's I think it is the same story, but it's a linguistic form how the same thing is presented in a different languages or different ways. That's what is really fascinating. Yeah. Okay, folks. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I just want to say that I once read that about the overall the Buddhist teachings, that they are meant to work and like lead to awakening. So sometimes maybe there's too much clinging to the tradition, but in the end, the teaching is supposed to work, and in a particular context, sometimes a different teaching, different articulation is needed. But yeah, in the end,
Exactly.
it's still Dharma.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the this idea of letting go, vimukti, because I mean the vimukti was the ultimate reality for most traditions up until the Buddha came along. Vimukti, and the vimukti should, what the Buddha said, that there is one step beyond that, that is even letting go of this idea of letting go, whatever. Yeah. So, and that is there's another sutta called I forget the name now. But anyway, we will be reading some more sutras and confusing you more. And if you were not happy with today's sutta, don't worry, be happy, okay? All right. So, any further questions?
I've got the Dutch translation of the sutta in front of me, and at the end of it, he's also saying why the Aryan does see things as he does, and I think that it's probably also because we now hear the different sort of categories of people, but also how do you become a part of the last category. And I read here that he says, what's the reason why he sees the Aryan people sees things as he does? Because he's free of passion and free of hatred and free of delusion. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, that's a really good remark, Adamitra, because that is at the root level. This now, the Nibbana is being described as Tannakkayo or Ragakkayo, Dosakkayo, and Mohakkayo. Yeah. But a lot of the time you focus on Ragakkayo and Dosakkayo. But Mohakkayo, that delusion part, I mean, I think this is the problem. The delusion, a lot of people think is ignorance. Avidya is not ignorance. Avidya is the illusion of knowledge, isn't it? If it is not knowing, there are a lot of things that we don't know, and we know that we don't know. But knowing that we don't know doesn't make you, any better.
Is it also so that those things are very much related, that you can't really separate hatred and craving and delusion? So it could be another way to get rid of delusion is to, well, also to work on your hatred and on your craving.
Yeah, I mean, working on your hatred and craving was the path before the Buddha. But I mean, it does help to calm that down, and that is what samadhi is about, but that doesn't do the job. Because how much hatred, how much, craving can you get rid of?
Again, I don't think you can sort of separate one of the roots of our not being Aryan. I mean, I think they're sort of interlinked, and
they're definitely interlinked. But there is another sutta which is, it's called, what is it called? It is called Raga Nusaya, Dosa Nusaya, and Moha Nusaya. Anusaya means the latent and dormant, this root problem. You see, the problem is that we are not addressing the root problem. We are addressing the, the problems about that. Yeah. So when the root problem is addressed or eliminated, and then other two become, completely powerless. Yeah. So the Satipatthana Sutta is a clear case. I mean, the Satipatthana Sutta, there is no emphasis. The Buddha never says, do this, do that, there is no imperative. There is only indicative. So the indicative is, when you do this, this happens. So that means, so basically you are not really trying to get rid of. Now that is totally, alien to Buddhist practice. Yeah. So it says, Saragang va chittang, saragang chittanti pajanati. With wisdom, you actually watch, you see the problem. And sadosang va chittang sadosang, samohang va chittang samohang. So, and the other faith traditions, they were trying to kind of control and get rid of and that sort of business, which is a different path altogether. And this is why Prince Siddhartha, he was a complete failure. He was a complete failure up until last minute. And he saw, I mean, he tried his best. It almost killed him. Yeah. And then he had to actually change the course of his action. And that transition, that U-turn, I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't say U-turn, that it is some sort of a turn, did him the job, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, some of you...
Maybe one last remark about the translation, the Dutch translation. It ends with the monks are delighted about the words of the Buddha. So it's in contrary of what you said. The monks are delighted.
Monks were delighted.
Huh? Delighted about the words of the Buddha, of the sutta. In this translation that I've got here.
Oh, does it say delighted?
Yes. Now, yeah, in Dutch they are verrukt, but delighted, yes, about the words.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
No, the Pali word, the Pali word says anabhinanditva. Anabhinanditva means unhappy or undelighted.
Yes. I don't know, but in these translations they are delighted. Like they always are.
Maybe someone couldn't believe it would be different this time. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, perhaps they may have thought that, oh, the Buddha has given a great sermon. It is not nice to say, yeah. So they may have changed it. This is what happens in the translation. Yeah. Oh gosh. The famous Zen story. I think our Zen master can tell you. When you go on by translations, translations and translations. One Zen master was actually trying to get to the core of the meaning of something. And then he went downstairs into the basement and looked through all the text, and he just started banging on his head. And he just went on like this. And the novice monk, he came down and asked, Master, what are you doing to yourself? And he said, you know what? We have been misreading this sutra for so long. Actually, the word is not celibate. The word is celebrate. So, yeah, have you heard that story? Yeah. No? Okay.
I heard it in Polish though. It sounds completely different, but also the same joke.
oh my God, I didn't.
I will tell you then later.
Yeah. So anyway, so let's ask Venerable Dhammarathana to do some blessing for us. Yeah. On this Vesak week. Yeah.
On this Vesak.
Before we end.
Yeah.
It's actually so hot here, even in this night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very warm.
Make a wish. Salutation of the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha. Power of blessings, everyone, especially my professor, Sunil Kariyakarawana, and many Dhamma friends. Okay. Blessings with Nitta. Buddho tiloka sarano buddho suryo tamo nudo evang tang saranang ke mang buddho me saranang varang gacchami saranang buddhang natti maihang bhayang sada Dhammo tiloka sarano dhammo suryo tamo nudo evang tang saranang ke mang dhammo me saranang varang gacchami saranang dhammang natti maihang bhayang sada Sangho tiloka sarano sangho suryo tamo nudo evang tang saranang ke mang sangho me saranang varang gacchami saranang sanghang natti maihang bhayang sada Natti tuihang bhayang sada etena saccavajjena hotu te jaya mangalang etena saccavajjena hotu te jaya mangalang etena saccavajjena Hotu te jaya mangalang. Say sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, folks, thank you very much. Thank you, Bhanthe. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
I think I will see you back in London very soon.
You're welcome.
Next week. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy
Thanks,
Sunday.
everyone.
Thanks again.
Bye.
Cheers.